One of the major challenges facing Oklahoma's workforce is having the cutting-edge skills necessary to meet the needs of an increasingly sophisticated workplace. Oklahoma's bioscience industry needs employees with highly specialized skills, and one institution in southern Oklahoma is working to make it a reality.
Oklahoma's workforce is prepared to go to work in the energy industry and in agriculture, but when it comes to one of the fastest growing segments of the world's economy, the workforce isn't there. In southern Oklahoma, that is beginning to change with a highly specialized school that draws in students from rural high schools. Sherry Stickley is with the Oklahoma Bioscience Association.
Our businesses tell us that it's still a challenge to find qualified workforce, and what it usually is like I said, people with particular skills.
6 years ago, the Southern Oklahoma Technology Center, in collaboration with the Samuel Roberts Noble Foundation, founded a biotechnology academy to teach those skills to junior and senior high school students across southern Oklahoma. Dr. Fiona McAllister was the academy's first instructor.
The heat block is on, so we're not going to worry about a boiling water bath. Don't forget, though, to put locking caps on them, because if you don't do that, they're going to explode and you'll end up with sample everywhere. The biosciences, biotechnology was a growing field of interest in Oklahoma, and it seemed like the logical relationship to begin to develop with the Noble Foundation. And so they did a lot of research and saw that it's one of the fastest growing industries, especially for high income employment. And so they really started developing this concept of what a biotechnology academy would have.
Dr. Carolyn Young is an assistant professor and research scientist at the Noble Foundation. The foundation gives students the opportunity to hone their skills in the laboratory through an internship program. And Young says when these students show up at the lab, they are well prepared.
So when they come into our lab environment, we're getting a student, a high quality student. They may only be a high schooler, but they're at a level that is above their counterparts that are entering into university.
Connor Boatwright, Linda Petties, and Andrew Rogers see their education in the biosciences as benefiting them in different ways. Just getting to work at a world-renowned research facility is motivating all by itself, to say nothing of what it may mean for their future careers.
I'd like to try and get into the pharmaceutical world and develop more like vaccines, medications, and stuff like that, lab work like this, preferably.
Okay, and you think this will help?
Oh, definitely.
I kind of want to be a vet when I get older, learn how to mess with DNA and stuff like that, so I want to, I guess, learn more stuff about science.
I like science and like forensics, and I just want to learn more about it and how it works.
And Hollywood has helped pique that interest in forensics.
Lauren Redgrave was murdered because her neighbor wanted her apartment.
Well, he put arsenic in her tea.
But that's not how we put him at the scene.
It was meteorite dust.
If you ask them what do you want to be when you grow up, at least 50% of them would say, I want to be a forensic scientist. You know, they've all watched CSI, and we're very thankful for that because it's given them the confidence or the interest to come and try science.
Amanda, you're now my molecule that's going to diffuse, and you're going to start from there. Our cell now has gotten smaller, hasn't it? You need to get from the cell membrane to the nucleus.
Instructor Janie Harriet says students entering the program are usually a bit nervous when they first arrive.
But then they're excited. The first time we put them in a lab coat and let them start pouring stuff or even playing with a micropipetter or the vortexer. The vortexer is a really cool little thing that spins like a tornado, the liquid, and they think that's the coolest tool in here.
For Jordan Lunsford, it's that emphasis on lab work that separates this from a typical high school science class.
They don't have as many labs or like opportunities to work in a lab, and we do 2 to 3 labs a day here, so it's a lot different.
We do labs every single day. Probably 70 to 80% of our curriculum is a hands-on activity. So while we are giving them note-taking and lecture skills, we're trying to show them how that's applied in a hands-on setting as well.
And Dr. McAllister says what they learn in class can be applied to several fields.
Biotechnology really is a tool that can can be applied in many different fields. We take an agriculture focus, we take an environmental science focus, and we take a medical focus. So we're able to draw in students that have a wide range of interests.
Maybe there are some students out there that weren't aware that this type of science was available to them, and it's making biotechnology accessible to students in rural schools. And I think that's a huge advantage of this program.
And it holds great promise for future economic development, creating a workforce ready for 21st century jobs.
It's training future scientists, really, to keep science in Oklahoma, to provide a new economy for Oklahoma. Potentially, if we have a trained workforce already here, it will encourage biotech companies to move into the area and look at Oklahoma as a place to start up their businesses.
The Southern Oklahoma Technology Center is showing the rest of the state the importance of educating young minds for the jobs of the future, a point that has been realized by Oklahoma State University, which is just now bringing online its new Institute of Agricultural Biosciences.
To see the OSU facility come in and to know that in small rural southern Oklahoma we have some big time stuff going on with science. Noble is one of the top 5 in the nation.
The economy of rural Oklahoma has long depended upon energy and agriculture to survive. It is ironic that now it is also rural Oklahoma where the next generation of scientists is acquiring the knowledge necessary for the jobs of the future.